Hey, good morning, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Unlocked. I'm your host, Tracy Wilson. Always my pleasure to be with you guys, particularly on a Friday. Friday here in Australia had like miserable rain all week, but as in if you go and look on the news or you do a bit of research on the rain that we've had here in Australia, you'll see that we have had flooding everywhere. But the last couple of days, the sun is shining and we have absolutely beautiful blue sky. So lovely to be here with you guys. Today, I want to talk about these 5 phases of a successful live show. Now, I want to talk about this because I think it's extremely relevant, hence the reason I've put it into the show rollout in terms of like the topics that I'm talking about. But I often get from people, I don't think I could do that. So I want to give you guys a bit of an insight into the 5 phases that you will go through as a show host and to create a live show, even if you are the shyest person around. Like I'm going to say, even if you were that little girl or that little guy that used to go to school in, whatever grade you were in, and you would have the day off because you knew that the very next day you were going to be required to stand up and give some sort of presentation, speech, or whatever the case may be in front of an audience. Or even if you're in, the thought of like having to stand up in front of people, let alone getting on a live show like this, absolutely almost makes you want to vomit. So if that's you right now, I want you to hang around because I'm going to share with you like the 5 phases that you'll go through. And so that even if you are somebody who is frightened as heck to do something like this, by the time you're finished and you understand the different phases, you will understand that you too can jump on and start creating your own live show that connects with what it is that you're passionate about and connects very firmly with your business and also the products and services that you create and you provide and serve to the world. So really important, that particular piece that I've just said there, because you want to make sure that your show does actually have, in terms of the messaging and the things that you're talking about, actually do connect with what it is that you do, so that you're creating a nice little pathway for people to follow you on if they so wish to. So let's get kicking on into kind of what these phases are. And I can speak about these really clearly because I've been working with a number of students inside of a program that Vicky Helm and I currently run, called the Influence and Authority Method. And this is the exact system or the process and the phases that every one of our members goes through. So I want to tell you that the guys that I'm talking about now that have been through our program, a lot of them started with us as that, we call them the unknown expert. So somebody who was frightened, somebody who was scared, probably never thought in a million years that they would be able to get on and do a show and be able to hold their own for an entire 30 minutes. So I want you to know that if that's you and you're frightened of getting on a live, even doing a Facebook Live or speaking in public, by the time you understand this process and I take you through the five phases that you're going to go through, you too will know that you can absolutely do this. So what's phase number 1? Phase number 1 is the emerger. So what I want to talk about here is you being the person that is actually ready to emerge. You're ready to emerge into somebody who is able to actually have the confidence and have the courage to be able to get out there and speak about what it is that you are so passionate about. So we work very firmly with people around how do we get them confident enough working with you to build up your confidence and your competencies so that you are able to feel very comfortable when it's time for you to go live. We call that the emerger or the emergence phase. So in that first phase, you're just kind of getting very, very comfortable with the fact that I'm getting myself into the right state of mind with the right mindset and taking on the new identity of being a show host, and that you are emerging into that. So that is kind of the first phase. It's making the decision that I've got a message that's strong enough, that I feel so passionate about, that is worthy of sharing with others. And I'm now ready to unleash myself from the unknown expert shackles and start actually talking about my products and services. And I'm ready to emerge out of that chrysalis that you've created into we say a beautiful butterfly, as we're starting to see all of our members become as they are creating their own live shows. So phase number 1 is the emerger. So you'll go through that process of emerging, starting to find your rhythm, starting to find your routine, very connected to the message that you want to share. And you're also through that phase understanding how to connect that message with your product and your service. Because make no mistakes, that everything, if you are an entrepreneur or you're a business owner, everything that you do, that it takes your time, you want to make sure that it contributes to your business in some way, shape, or form. So this show type scenario enables you to speak very intimately in a way with your audience that enables you to create what we call an anchor platform to be able to share what it is that you do. And over time, as people continue to start watching you, they get to know you, like you, trust you, they then are going to want to know more about you. So that's essentially what you're doing when you're creating a show. And one of the biggest mistakes I see people doing is that they start creating a show and they're talking about all sorts of random things, and they haven't necessarily connected their show and their message with the products and the services that they actually offer. And you want to make sure that you absolutely do that. Otherwise, you're going to be leading to people down a path that doesn't lead to your business, your product, and your service. So I'm hoping that makes sense for you all. And I want you to, these shows are always interactive. So those of you that are watching now, I want you to comment to me and let me know that absolutely makes sense. Phase number 1, the emerger. The next phase you are going to go through as you start doing your own show is what we call the exposer. So again, you're starting to expose your knowledge, your expertise, your experience, the journey that you've had, and you're very carefully putting that together in a way that again is going to be able to connect with your audience and take them on a journey. So that is the exposer phase. And again, in that phase 2, we're also wanting to get you to a point where, or you want to get yourself to a point where you're actually able to create a platform that enables you to expose yourself on multiple different platforms. So not just on one, you want to create your show so it's actually being able to be seen in multiple different places. So you only have to do your show once, but the system and the process that you create actually enables you to be on multiple platforms all at the same time, and also creates all of your social media content for you so that you're not having to do that, because we all know how much time and effort that takes to have to create, multiple pieces of content for up to 6 different social media channels. So in this case, what you're doing is you are you're exposing yourself to the audience that wants to see you. You're doing it in a very strategic way by creating your own show, and then you're immediately streaming that simultaneously out to multiple different platforms. And then after the fact, you are going to use a system, or you want to create yourself a system that enables you to continue to spread the word about the show that you've just done on multiple different platforms, even after the show has aired. The next phase that you are going to be going through is what we call the engager. When you're at the engager phase, you then want to engage with your audience. You're then now in a position where your audience is going to be asking you questions. They're going to be coming back to your show later. They're going to be, asking you specific questions about a show that you did, or a podcast that you did, or a piece of information that you have shared. And you want to be able to engage them in a way that continues to engage them, continues to build the solid relationship with them, so that eventually down the track, they may well want to continue to work with you. The next phase that you're going to go through, which is phase number 4, is what we call the enhancer phase. When you're at the enhancer phase, this is where you want to make sure that the product and the service that you have already got actually is well connected with your show. And if you don't have that, if you don't have an online program or a product or a service or a brick and mortar type business that you already have created, in this phase, this is where you want to create something that is of value, that is going to enable your audience to continue to build and have a relationship with you. So for example, off the back of the Unlock show, a lot of people contact me and ask me, how do I create my own show? Well, we have a program that we've created that actually teaches people exactly how to do it. We give them all the templates, all of the tools and the resources that they need to be able to create a very successful show. And we also show them how to come up with all of their topics. So in that phase, you want to make sure that you've got something of value that is connected to your show, and that is also going to enable you to monetize the show that you've just created. So that's in the enhancer phase. And then phase number 5 is what we call the empire phase. So this is where we're starting to look at our entire business structure. And if you think about when you're building out your empire, it has multiple things, right? So you're usually building out an empire or an ecosystem so that your customers can continue to do business with you in multiple different ways. And that might be through doing a show. So I have multiple shows that I do, but I also have books. So I'll show you the book, The She Myth, that is firmly attached to a show that I do called Take a Stand. And then we have programs that go with that. You would do exactly the same thing. So when you're creating your show, that becomes part of your overall empire and your ecosystem to enable people to want to continue to do business with you on the long term. So the overall or the total process that you're going to be building, if you're following a system like we have books, we have shows, and we have programs. And we teach people how to do all of these things inside of the programs that we operate. One of the things that I want to share with you guys today, if you're interested in, you've got an idea, you've got a concept, or maybe you've even got a message that you think is burning inside of you, and you would love to be able to share that on a much bigger scale, and a show may be the right platform for you to do that, then I would encourage you to go to influenceandauthority.com and watch. There is a 2-hour masterclass that I have on there that I'm taking people through and showing you what it is that you need to do to be able to create your show that then enables you to create all of your social media content, but also enables you to create this as your what we call top of funnel. It's like the entry point where your customers would come in and start building a relationship with you. So if you'd like to know more about how to do that, head on over to influenceandauthority.com and watch the 2-hour training that I have available there for you. And that will give you a lot more insight into why and how you can start leveling the playing field for you in your industry, and you can stop being the best kept secret in town and start being a sought after expert that people are going to start to listen to, are going to start to come back to, and are going to want to approach you to be speakers, to be on their online summits, and also to collaborate with them. So there's a multiple different ways that you can start building out your empire, but that essentially is the 5-step process, or the 5 phases of the identities that you will go through as you are starting to build out your own anchor platform, being your show. So let me just recap what these are. So the first phase is the emerger. It's like you coming out of your shell. The next is you as being the exposer. You're now going to expose yourself to more of the audience that wants to hear from you. Phase number 3 is the engager. Now you're moving to a phase where you're starting to actually engage with people. The 4th phase in the process is the enhancer. And then the 5th phase in this entire process is building out your empire so that you become a sought after expert, and you are no longer the person who is the unknown expert, shackled and hiding. You are now becoming that sought after expert. So those are the 5 phases in the process that you will start to create as you start building out your successful live show. So I hope those phases today have helped all of you to understand that even though you may be frightened as all heck right now to even get out and speak in public, you might be shaking in your boots when when you are faced with an opportunity to do that. But through this process, you will become very, very comfortable and very good at being able to speak at a drop of a hat in a live format like this. And this will help you down the track to also transition into being able to speak on the stage if you so wish to do that. So again, just those 5 phases. 1, the emerger. Phase number 2, the exposer. Phase number 3, the exposer. Phase number 3 is the engager. Phase number 4 is the enhancer. And phase number 5 is the building your empire. So I'm going to leave you guys with that today. I hope you have a fantastic weekend. And I want to see you all starting your own live shows. And if you'd like to know more about how to do that, head on over to influenceandauthority.com and you can watch the free 2-hour live training that's on there and available for you guys to watch over this weekend. So go ahead, guys, click those buttons and listen to that live recording, and you too will be able to get your live show going and be able to connect that very firmly with your message and also with your product and service. So I want to say thanks very much for joining me today, and I'll see you guys again next week. Next Wednesday, I've got another amazing guest with me on Unlocked. Next Friday, there will be no live Unlocked show because it's Easter Friday, and I will be away camping with my family. So you might see me live from time to time, showing you around our campsite. But that's what I'll be up to next weekend. Hope you guys all have a fantastic week. I look forward to seeing you guys again on Wednesday. Bye for now.